Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin based on novel. So let's start. Jurong-chi sat there in a daze, tears streaming down her face. Little Chi, what's wrong? Molly Feiyun asked her crying friend, instantly sobered, and quickly inquired, what happened? My father is dead, Jurong-chi said blankly. While her father was alive, she was the privileged daughter of a large clan, mingling only with the descendants of great families in Huyang City. She even looked down on becoming a disciple of ordinary eternal true gods, wanting to be apprenticed to the openly strongest commander Molly Xiao in Huyang City, or at the very least to Lord Luo He, who could suppress the dark forces. Choosing her alchemy-proficient father, an ordinary eternal true god, was not exactly what Jurong-chi had been willing to settle for. But now that her father was gone, and had left her a way out in his final message, she found it somewhat unbearable. Father. Jurong-chi knew well that her father was the one who loved her the most in this world, willing to give everything for her, a dear relative. Uncle Yang is dead. Molly Feiyun couldn't believe it. How is that possible? Uncle Yang was an eternal true god. Who killed him? He was indeed killed. A sigh rose. It was Molly Meng, the one currently in power of the Molly clan. As for Molly Xiao, he had no energy to manage family trivialities. Father, Molly Feiyun looked at her own father. Just now, every creature in the main branch's cave mansion of the Jurong family was killed, without a single survivor, Molly Meng said. Now, only some of the branches of the Jurong family remain. The size of a cave mansion was limited, and some large clans had to be dispersed, especially the peripheral branches, which could only live in ordinary cave mansions. Ironically, the core of the Jurong family was the one eradicated this time. Father, who is the murderer? Molly Feiyun asked. Jurong-chi also looked toward Molly Meng. Molly Meng said, before Jurong Yang died, he contacted many of his friends through the karmic messenger order, indicating that the murderer was association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python. My father also sent a transmission saying that the murderer was the leader of the Blood Python, Jurong-chi said hoarsely. The entire cave mansion, including my father and tens of thousands of creatures, from eternal true gods to the young children of our clan, not a single one was spared. With the definitive evidence of my father's own transmission, the city owner's mansion should act, right? Molly Meng shook his head. The leader of the Blood Python is not an ordinary eternal true god. He controls a force of his own, and killing him is not easy. It requires discussion among the 5 great families to decide. Plus, your father's pre-death transmission does not count as definitive evidence. The murderer could have completely impersonated the leader of the Blood Python. Impersonation? Jurong-chi was anxious. Can't we trust my father's last transmission? Some secret techniques of impersonation are hard even for eternal true gods to see through, Molly Meng said. In any case, to conclusively determine the identity of the murderer and to get the city owner's mansion to act, is very difficult. Jurong-chi fell silent. After your father's death, it will be difficult for you, a true god of void space, to control his many properties, the numerous alchemy cave mansions, shops, and so on, Molly Meng said shaking his head. The Molly clan can help take them over. Father. Molly Feiyun began anxiously. Rest assured, I would not stoop to take such a small advantage. These assets are valued at 20,000 cosmic sand, and will be deposited in your name in the Flame Wind Pavilion, Molly Meng said. It's not suitable for you to carry so much cosmic sand on you. Thank you, Uncle Meng, Jurong-chi gratefully said, knowing full well the price was definitely not low. Within Huyang City, those confident in killing the leader of the Blood Python can be counted on one hand, Molly Meng said, so to kill him, you need to have enough patience to wait for the right opportunity. Jurong-chi asked, can Commander Molly act? I can give up the 20,000 cosmic sand. It's not as simple as you think, Molly Meng replied as he turned to leave. Little Chi, you can stay with me, no one will threaten you, Molly Feiyun said. Feiyun, I just want to be alone for a while, Jurong-chi said softly. All right, I won't disturb you, Molly Feiyun said as she got up to leave. Jurong-chi sat there alone, staring blankly at the night sky, at the countless twinkling stars. Just now, the star belonging to her father must have entirely dimmed as well. Father. At that moment, Jurong-chi missed her father immensely, and then her eyes turned wild. Through the transmission token, Jurong-chi made contact with the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall from afar. Jurong-chi, after your father Jurong-yang died, he left you 30,000 cosmic sand in the Dark Hall. And Mo Li-meng has also deposited 20,000 cosmic sand for you, so now you have 50,000 cosmic sand in your name, the Dark Hall responded to her. I want to offer a bounty of 40,000 cosmic sand for the head of association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python, Jurong-chi transmitted back, believing in her father's judgment of the murderer's identity as he lay dying. Understood. The bounty for the leader of the Blood Python has now been raised to 160,000 cosmic sand. You still have 10,000 cosmic sand in your name, the Dark Hall responded. After upping the bounty, Jurong-chi could only wait in silence, hoping a powerful individual would take the offer and kill the leader of the Blood Python. At the headquarters of the Blood Python Association. Mo Li-meng, why have you come? The leader of the Blood Python said with a smile as he looked at Mo Li-meng. Mo Li-meng's face was grim. Have you lost your mind? Jurong-yang focused on alchemy, contributing to the entirety of Huyang City and not meddling in your dark force struggles. Why did you attack him? Acting so recklessly will only cause panic among many families in Huyang City. If the 5 great families deem you a threat to the stability of the entire city, you are finished. It wasn't me who killed him. The murderer impersonated me, the leader of the Blood Python said urgently. The leader of the Shi Kingdom's forces, Shuiyun, is very good at impersonating, and I suspect it was him pretending to be me. Before his death, Jurong-yang was certain the murderer was you, Mo Li-meng sneered. To leave such clear evidence of your identity in such a criminal act shows just how incapable you really are. It really wasn't me, the leader of the Blood Python said. Inside Huyang City, everyone must abide by the rules. Mo Li-meng gave him a look then turned to leave. If you don't follow the rules, the consequences might be more than you can handle. With that, Mo Li-meng had already disappeared. Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python watched Mo Li-meng leave, his expression eventually settling into calm. What does it matter if I don't play by the rules? In this world, strength is ultimately what is respected most, Blood Python leader Mu Yang sneered. If I kill one, what can the many families within Huyang City do? If they dare to move against me, they'd better be prepared to die. It's just a pity that Jurong-yang was such trash. Killing him and even plundering his entire cave mansion, I only managed to get a total of 220,000 cosmic sand, Blood Python leader shook his head. An eternal true god ranked in the top 3 in Huyang City for alchemy, I estimated him to be quite the fat sheep. Unfortunately, it amounted to so little. If all else fails, I'll have to use my armor treasure as collateral, Blood Python leader thought inwardly. I must buy the lower part of the primordial iron blood sand technique as soon as possible. Otherwise, if I delay too long, I will be completely entangled by Shi Kingdom's forces and won't be able to save my own life. He was well aware of how dangerous the conflict between the 5 great families and Shi Kingdom's forces was. He had been involved because of inheritance and only thought of gaining the inheritance quickly and then fleeing far away. The longer the delay, the more dangerous it became. I must gather 1 million cosmic sand as soon as possible. The eyes of Blood Python leader were ice cold. Time passed slowly in the land of origin. The night came, and the day followed. Various major powers within Huyang City all knew about Jurong-yang's death and had also heard that the murderer might be Blood Python leader Mu Yang. The bounty on Mu Yang at the Flame Wind Pavilion's Dark Hall had reached 160,000 cosmic sand. Some of my father's friends would want to offer a reward, but now that my father is dead, none of them would help. Jurong-chi, within the Mo Li family, had been checking the bounty. The bounty hadn't changed, and nobody completed the mission. Fourth in the bounty list is a dark force leader known as Chun Yui, with a bounty of 180,000 cosmic sand. For eons, he has lived well. Now Blood Python leader's bounty is 160,000 cosmic sand, ranking 5th. Who would kill him? Jurong-chi repeatedly looked at the bounty missions, hoping for some changes in the list. But the previous long night had brought no such changes. Jurong-chi only felt powerless. After her father's death, there was nothing much she could do. Miss, Supreme Lord Luo he has arrived at the Fire Realm restaurant, Suo Yun, who had been waiting at the Fire Realm restaurant, transmitted. Luo he? Jurong Chi's heart stirred. As soon as Supreme Lord Luo he arrived in Huyang, he didn't take the Blood Python Association seriously. He definitely wouldn't be afraid of Blood Python leader. Blood Python leader's notorious reputation made many forces wary. But clearly, Lord Luo he didn't care about that, which was also why Jurong Chi had immediately wanted to seek him as a mentor. Jurong Chi immediately got up. Little Chi, Moli Feiyun had always been worried about her good friend. I must go out immediately, Jurong Chi said. It's not safe for you to go out now, Moli Feiyun said worriedly. It's daytime now, with true gods everywhere. It's quite safe. Besides, I must go out. Jurong Chi insisted. After thinking for a moment, Moli Feiyun said, I will arrange a guard unit to escort you, and you will take our Moli family's flying boat. Thanks, Jurong Chi expressed her gratitude and immediately rushed outside without further ado. Fire Realm Restaurant. Supreme, my young mistress has ordered that all of your expenses at the Fire Realm Restaurant will be borne by her, Suo Yun said with utmost respect. Luo Feng arrived accompanied by Morosa and Moyu Qingyang. Have you been here guarding since I left the Fire Realm Restaurant last time? Luo Feng looked at Suo Yun. Yes, it was the young mistress's order, the guard Suo Yun replied. Thank her for me, Luo Feng said as he headed inside. The owner of Fire Realm Restaurant, Black Butcher, also came forward enthusiastically to welcome them. Inside the small building, Luo Feng and Morosa enjoyed food and wine together, while the servant Moyu Qingyang could only wait outside the building, guarding it diligently. That young miss from the Jurong family seems quite eager to find a master, Morosa commented. Her father died last night, Luo Feng replied. Died? Morosa was surprised. I heard it from a friend, Luo Feng explained, as he had received visits from many powers and made some friends. Several eternal true gods, including Shong Tianyang, had informed him of this news. Luo Feng suddenly mentioned, among Shi Kingdom's covert forces within Huyang City, their leader is called Shui Yun, with a bounty of 1 million cosmic sand. Let's take him down. Morosa's eyes lit up. But we can't find him, Luo Feng thought. Do you have any way to find him? With Morosa's innate mastery of the great Tao of destruction origin, even without relying on the secret technique of willpower such as the Lai Yuan technique, Luo Feng didn't think he could necessarily defeat Morosa. If he couldn't find Shui Yun, perhaps Morosa might have a chance. I've never met him, Morosa frowned. If I had seen him once, I might have some methods to locate him. What a pity, Luo Feng shook his head. If they could kill Shui Yun and take the spoils and the hefty bounty, just one would be worth a band of Dark Force leaders. It would probably be enough for his 3 attempts at body refinement. Too bad they couldn't find him. Master, a voice came from outside. It was Moyu Qingyang's. Jurong Chi is here to visit. She's here. Luo Feng looked at the spread before him at Fire Realm Feast. Let her in. Outside, Moyu Qingyang, who had been guarding seriously, stepped aside and said, The master has allowed you to enter. Jurong Chi glanced at the young true god, then entered the small building alone. Within the small building, Jurong Chi immediately saw Luo Feng and Morosa, both sitting there, enjoying the fine food and drinking wine. Jurong Chi pays her respects to the Supreme, Jurong Chi said reverently as she knelt and pressed her forehead to the ground. Speak your business, Luo Feng said leisurely as he poured himself some wine. My father was murdered, and all the creatures in the cave mansion, including the children, were slaughtered, Jurong Chi said while prostrate. I only wish to avenge my father and all the creatures of the entire cave mansion that died. I asked the city owner's mansion to kill the murderer, but they were unmoved. I increased the bounty at the Flame Wind Pavilion's dark hall, hoping someone would be willing to take action. But I waited all night and still no powerful being stepped forward. I know the Supreme is not afraid of the Blood Python Association, so I have come to beg the Supreme, hoping the Supreme would accept the bounty and kill the Blood Python leader, Jurong Chi pleaded hoarsely. Luo Feng and Morosa both looked at her. What do you offer me in your plea? Luo Feng said, that banquet you've arranged for this occasion? I have nothing left to offer, Nearly all my wealth has been put into the bounty of the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall. Now only 10,000 cosmic sand remain. I am also willing to offer these 10,000 cosmic sand to the Supreme, Jurongchi whispered as she knelt. I know that this bit of cosmic sand is far too little to ask the Supreme to take action. But I have nothing left, only my life remains. I am willing to sell myself into servitude for the Supreme, to serve for a lifetime. I have no other wishes than to seek vengeance, Jurongchi said with tears in her eyes, her fluffy tail also drooping to the side. Luo Feng looked at her. Sell yourself into servitude? Your father obviously had plans for you, and today you also came aboard the Moli clan's flying boat. You could easily live a carefree life. Now you want to give up everything, sell yourself into servitude, all for the sake of revenge? Yes, Jurongchi prostrated without any hesitation. Even if I killed the blood python leader, your father cannot be brought back to life. To give up a carefree life for a dead father? Luo Feng looked at her, recalling the last time he saw the young miss of the Jurong family, feeling her pride, but now she was completely different. That was my father. He loved me the most in this world, always protecting and cherishing me. His final transmission before his death was all about considering my welfare, arranging a way out for me. Yet, the father who loved me most is gone. The clan members I've grown up with since my birth are gone, Jurongchi said as she knelt. For the sake of vengeance, I can do anything. At no expense. Even if it meant perishing both in body and soul, I would be content. Jurongchi looked towards Luo Feng. Your father made arrangements for you in his final transmissions? He likely hoped you'd live well, Luo Feng said. You need not sell yourself into servitude. Keep the 10,000 cosmic sand you have left and use it for your own cultivation, and live well, just as your father hoped for you. As for your request for me to take action, I was indeed planning to accept a bounty mission. Let the blood python leader be my first bounty target, Luo Feng said. Jurongchi stared at Luo Feng, stunned. He would help without needing cosmic sand or her servitude. I am willing to serve the Supreme, Jurongchi expressed her immense gratitude. There's no need, Luo Feng said lightly, shaking his head. You go back to the Moli clan first, and remember, keep this matter a secret. Jurongchi nodded repeatedly. Of course, she understood the importance of secrecy. You will receive a message before nightfall, Luo Feng said as he waved his hand lightly. You may go. Thank you, Supreme. Jurongchi bowed deeply before getting up and departing. As Jurongchi left the small building, her emotions surged. She saw Moyu Qingyang waiting at the door and felt an inexplicable twinge of envy. She offered to serve as a servant, yet the Supreme did not accept. Miss, Suo Yun hurriedly approached to greet her. Suo Yun, my father is dead, the Jurong clan is finished, Jurongchi said. You no longer need to act as my protector. As she spoke, she patted Suo Yun on the shoulder, and a jade vial appeared inside Suo Yun's robe. Stunned, Suo Yun could hardly believe it. Jurongchi quickly boarded the Moli clan's flying boat and left. The Jurong clan is finished. Suo Yun, who had been guarding the modest Fire Realm restaurant, was not very well informed and did not know about the events of the previous night. Sensing the small jade vial with divine power, he couldn't help feeling delighted. A full 500 primal chaos crystals. The miss is truly generous. Even with his talents, serving as a protector for the Jurong family for one era earned him only 10 primal chaos crystals. The miss was letting him go and gave him 500 primal chaos crystals, which was truly a fortune for a true god. He understood that such a large number of primal chaos crystals was given to him because of the merit points he had accrued. With these, I can purchase resources to refine the bloodline of my godly body and, added to my previous inheritance law, with my talents, I fully aim to become a true god of void space. Suo Yun mused internally with eagerness welling up, and turned to leave. At that moment, the Fire Realm restaurant's owner Black Butcher also noticed Suo Yun's departure. This protector, Suo Yun, has been staying at my Fire Realm restaurant all this time, and is finally leaving, the Black Butcher thought. The Jurong family's young miss who just left was also odd. Normally she comes with her own entourage of protectors. Why did she take the Moli clan's flying boat this time? The Black Butcher subtly felt something was amiss. Having struggled to reach the void true God realm after arriving in the land of origin from reincarnation cycles, he wasn't as well informed and didn't know of the annihilation of the Jurong family. Black Butcher. A commanding voice resounded as the red-haired man Duan Moyun, accompanied by several subordinates, arrived at the Fire Realm restaurant. Palace Master Duan. The portly Black Butcher greeted him enthusiastically. As the Black Butcher, a member of the law lineage who had cultivated in the land of origin for countless years, he was definitely among the top tier in the Void True God realm, more than capable of suppressing Duan Moyun. However, he didn't dare to show the slightest disrespect at the moment, for the other was one of the Palace Masters of the Blood Python Association. It's truly rare for Palace Master Duan to visit my humble restaurant, the Black Butcher said warmly. Black Butcher, Duan Moyun spoke, I'm here to deliver an order. The Black Butcher asked, puzzled, what order? Our leader has commanded that all merchants within the territory of the Blood Python Association must pay a one-time tribute fee for 100 eras, Duan Moyun said. A tribute fee for 100 eras? The Black Butcher was shocked and asked urgently, hasn't it always been just 1 era's fee at a time? I've never short-changed the Blood Python Association in my tributes. The rules have changed, pay a one-time fee for 100 eras. After this payment, the next will be after another 100 eras, Duan Moyun said with a smile, my Blood Python Association won't overcharge you. The Black Butcher said anxiously, but where would I get so much? All merchants within our Blood Python Association's territory are the same, Duan Moyun said. You have 3 days to make the payment. If you don't pay, you should know the consequences of defying the Blood Python Association. The Black Butcher's expression turned ugly. The message has been delivered, you better hurry and prepare, Duan Moyun said as he turned and walked away with his subordinates. Master, how can we gather such a huge tribute fee in 3 days? A disciple also said worriedly. The Black Butcher shook his head slightly. Those merchants with stronger backing can ignore the Blood Python Association, but we don't have that luxury. To dare not pay at a time like this, one might lose their life without a sound. Since the Blood Python Association had decided to collect a one-time tribute fee for 100 eras, they'd surely make an example out of someone. Those who dared not pay would be killed. The Black Butcher had lived in Huyang City till this day, and he knew very well what should and shouldn't be done. Though he understood, he still felt aggrieved. Sigh, it's so hard to run a small restaurant here in Huyang City. The Blood Python Association is collecting a tribute fee for 100 eras, a voice sounded. The Black Butcher turned his head and saw Luo Feng and Morosa walking up to him. Supreme heard, the Black Butcher said helplessly, it's the order of the Blood Python Association, and a small restaurant like ours has no room to resist. Indeed, the Blood Python Association is a bit mad, Luo Feng nodded. Luckily, I've had dealings with them. The Black Butcher muttered to himself. Had dealings? Who in Huyang City didn't know that the river god crushed the Blood Python Association, making them obediently pay a penalty of 20,000 cosmic sand? I'll speak to them when the time comes, and you should be able to avoid paying that tribute fee, Luo Feng said. That would really trouble you, my lord, the Black Butcher said repeatedly. In Huyang City, some merchants with strong backing wouldn't need to pay tribute fees. It was only the weaker merchants like them who couldn't resist. If the river god spoke up, life for the small restaurant would undoubtedly improve significantly. My word should carry some weight, Luo Feng said before departing with Morosa and Moyu Qingyang. The Black Butcher watched Luo Feng leave, overflowing with joy. The Blood Python Association won't start a fight with Supreme Lord Luo he just for a small restaurant like mine. Ah, Supreme likes my little restaurant, life's going to get better from now on. Having a patron like that could save one from a lot of exploitation. Master, are we going to the Blood Python Association now? Asked Morosa, looking down at the bustling cityscape of Huyang City, his eyes burning with eagerness, while the bewildered Moyu Qingyang stood beside him. Visit the Blood Python Association? Was it necessary to be so urgent for the sake of the Fire Realm restaurant? At this moment, Moyu Qingyang was still unaware of Luo Feng's intention to confront the association leader of the Blood Python. We're going now, Luo Feng nodded. Let's go. Whoosh. Luo Feng, leading his 2 servants, turned into a blur of flowing light, heading directly for the Blood Python Association headquarters. Soon, the vast, imposing expanse of the Blood Python Association headquarters came into view, teeming with Blood Python Association members scattered everywhere while the formation operated, its power terrifyingly formidable. "You two stay outside and watch," Luo Feng instructed, glancing at Morosa. "Yes, Master," Morosa replied, while simultaneously grabbing hold of Moyu Qingyang, who was somewhat confused. Shouldn't the servants accompany their master during his visit to the Blood Python Association? Morosa transmitted a message through mental connection. "Master, rest assured, even if that cunning Blood Python leader manages to escape, I'll be able to intercept him. Just watch, I'll handle him." Luo Feng sent a message back telepathically and flew towards the grand entrance of the Blood Python Association headquarters. "Leave the body of the Blood Python leader to me, will you?" Morosa sent a telepathic message, drooling with anticipation. The body of the famous Blood Python leader would surely be far superior to that of He Duomo. Luo Feng had already flown close to the main entrance of the Blood Python Association headquarters. He also utilized the Flamewind Pavilion's Dark Hall's transmission token to instantly accept the mission Assassinate Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python. It was now daytime, and outside the headquarters of the Blood Python Association there was a bustling crowd, with many true gods, some soaring across the sky on flying secret treasures, others walking on the streets. Yet, they all consciously kept their distance from the headquarters of the Blood Python Association. That is the headquarters of the Blood Python Association, Dark Forces Blood Python Association. Many true gods passing by gazed in awe at the grand and vast headquarters of the Blood Python Association. Suddenly, they noticed an incredibly dense darkness had completely enveloped the entire Blood Python Association headquarters. This scene left the cultivators of the myriad clans who were passing by in shock. After all, it was daytime, and many tribal true gods had entered the city, and they all clearly witnessed this scene. "What's happening? The darkness has covered the entire Blood Python Association headquarters. You can't see inside, nor hear any sound. This is a cosmic domain. The headquarters of the Blood Python Association must have encountered a formidable enemy. This is big trouble." The myriad clans' cultivators were bustling about, all immediately stepping back to keep a distance, watching from afar. Among these cultivators were Morosa and Moyu Qingyang. "Lord Luo Sa, the master he?" Moyu Qingyang was not foolish, naturally realizing something was amiss. "Just watch," Morosa said with a smile, watching intently. Luo Feng accepted the bounty task, known only to the Flamewind Pavilion, which also would not disclose the matter. Accepting tasks had no restrictions, even several powerful beings could accept the same task separately, and whoever completed the task would receive the bounty. "Master, Luo he has accepted the task of assassinating the association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python," the shadowy figure immediately informed the master of the pavilion. "Luo he and the association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python?" The master of the Flamewind Pavilion gently tapped, and the scene of the Blood Python Association headquarters appeared in front of him, now completely engulfed by darkness, utterly indistinct. "This Luo he is direct. He's gone straight in." The headquarters of the Blood Python Association, suddenly enveloped by a cosmic domain, and there's a burst of strong fluctuations. Several officials responsible for monitoring the entire city at the city owner's mansion were immediately shocked. "Quickly report to the city lord." They knew the urgency of the situation. Clearly someone powerful had directly attacked the Blood Python Association headquarters. ************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* though he had accepted the task, the Flame Wind Pavilion would not disclose it. But Luo Feng always believed in one thing: the more people who knew the secret, the easier it was to expose. Even with the Flame Wind Pavilion, Luo Feng would not fully trust them. While deploying the cosmic domain to instantly envelop the Blood Python Association headquarters, Luo Feng had already made his move. HMPH. Luo Feng's right hand turned into a claw, stretching forward, his arm swelling, and his 5 fingers lengthening and enlarging rapidly. The 5 fingers, like 5 heavenly pillars causing space and time to warp, forcefully grasped onto the formation of the Blood Python Association headquarters. As a force of the dark forces, The Blood Python Association headquarters often clashed with other forces, so naturally, its formation was powerful, having also cost a considerable amount. But as Luo Feng's 5 fingers, like heavenly pillars, came crashing down, boom, boom, boom tilde 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 continuous explosions ensued, several formation bases of the headquarters burst directly, and the operating formation was completely ripped apart. Not good. A powerful enemy is here. Many members inside the Blood Python Association headquarters looked up to see the formation ripping apart and were instantly panicked, having no thought of resisting. After all, seeing a cosmic domain enveloping them and even the formation broken, they knew the attacker was among the most powerful of the eternal true gods. These common members could manage collecting levies, but facing a terrifying force, they would crumble to dust upon contact. They all hurriedly hid, seeking refuge in secluded parts of the buildings, only hoping not to be involved. Has someone already made their move so quickly? In the closed hall, the Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang looked up, his gaze piercing through layers of barriers to see the palm tearing the formation. Who in Huyang City dares to strike at me? Not good. In another location, Vice President Lai Mo, Vice Chairman Mu Lin felt the terrifying disturbance of the entire formation being shattered. Both their faces turned pale. To instantly crush the formation, this strength must be no weaker than the leaders. Far surpassing both of us. Vice President Lai Mo, Vice Chairman Mu Lin both trembled with fear, they were much weaker than the leader. Ha ha ha. You Blood Python Association have committed all evils, now retribution has come. A horribly tortured true god of void space burst out with a mad laugh. The vengeance for my Chimor tribe's 3,700 kinsmen shall be avenged today. This true god of void space was one of the praise of the Blood Python Association. At this time, Vice President Lai Mo and Vice Chairman Mu Lin could no longer afford to investigate the Chimor tribe's hidden treasures. Vice President Lai Mo merely glanced at him, and the horribly tortured true god of void space was eradicated. Let's go. Go and meet with the president. 2 vice presidents acted decisively, instantly dashing out of the building. As they burst out of the building, they realized that the outside was completely engulfed in darkness. Within the twisted darkness, a terrifying presence loomed over them, and a vague figure was already approaching. Luo He. Upon seeing the blurry figure, Vice President Lai Mo's bloodshot eyes bulged out. Initially stricken by Luo Feng with a move that took the true god's heart, Vice President Lai Mo's fear of Luo Feng was deep-seated. Luo He. Vice Chairman Mu Lin's face also changed. The two of them encountered Luo Feng but reacted in utterly different ways. Vice President Lai Mo immediately ignited his divine power, retreating frantically, only thinking about getting as far away as possible. Meanwhile, the exceptionally thin Vice Chairman Mu Lin showed a crazed expression. In an instant, his body explosively disintegrated, transforming into countless poisonous insects. These densely packed insects, most of which attacked Luo Feng, while a few scattered in all directions. Luo Feng instantly discerned these densely packed poisonous insects, each encased in a silver-gray shell, remarkably tough. The body of poisonous insects. Luo Feng had thoroughly understood from the information obtained from Shang Tianyang, knowing that this Vice Chairman Mu Lin's entire strength lay in his godly body, cultivated into the quite troublesome body of poisonous insects. With the ability to split into 1,000,000 poisonous insects, tough and with exceedingly sharp mouthparts, even weapons' secret treasures could be slowly gnawed away given enough time. Moreover, the intense poison contained could penetrate the soul. In terms of threat, Vice Chairman Mu Lin was even more difficult to deal with than Vice President Lai Mo. With my countless treasure insects, as long as I can delay for a while, I can completely shake him off. Each poisonous insect contained the will of Vice Chairman Mu Lin. Chmph. Luo Feng didn't stop his steps, accompanied by a cold snort. A grey, vigorous force erupted on the surface of his godly body. This force, centered on Luo Feng, impacted the surrounding area naturally, including all the attacking poisonous insects. These incredibly tough insects, touching the grey vigor, were instantly shattered. The grey vigor also split into tens of thousands of strands, pursuing the fleeing insects. All the escaping insects were nowhere near fast enough to outrun this grey vigor and were all overtaken and annihilated. Phut! Some of the grey vigor even chased up to the frantically fleeing Vice President Limo. Although Limo's power was not dispersed, he burned his godly body and wielded a scepter, barely blocking those strands of grey vigor before fleeing even faster in terror. Mu Lin's million poisonous insects were wiped out in a single encounter. This Luo he is too terrifying. Only the president can stop him. Luo Feng continued advancing, waving his hand to collect various items like bracelets and jade vials that dropped from the annihilation of the million poisonous insects. The destruction of the million poisonous insects was thanks to the reincarnation blade from the world-breaking 9 blades which Luo Feng had mastered and comprehended. Now, after a session of body refinement, the terrifying strength of his godly body emanating from the reincarnation blade's essence felt as if it was an entire realm of reincarnation blade. With just a small release of vigor from my godly body, I can easily devastate ordinary eternal true gods. Luo Feng was well aware of the formidable nature of his own godly body. When he first arrived at the land of origin, his godly body was still growing, far from reaching the height of 100 million kilometers. Now, having grown to its pinnacle, his true body could maintain a height of 180 billion kilometers in the land of origin, with every movement not inferior to the eternally true gods at the tenfold realm of the bloodline path. And after another session of body refinement, the formidable nature of Luo Feng's divine body was beyond imagination. The vigor burst of the godly body, supplemented with the reincarnation blade's essence forming the reincarnation blade realm, under such realm's influence, the likes of He Duomo and Vice President Limo, if they resisted directly, would be twisted and shattered. Just being remotely affected by a small amount of that power, is this terrifying? Vice President Limo, burning his divine power, rushed towards where the president was. "President, save me, President, save my life." Vice President Limo urgently transmitted his message. "I'll handle him," spoke Association leader Mu Yang from the Blood Python, already arriving in front of Vice President Limo. Vice President Limo felt a momentary relief. Even if the president is weaker than that Luo he can entangle him for a while, giving me enough time to get away. This small cosmic domain might trap ordinary members of the Blood Python Association, but not him, an eternal true god. But suddenly, Association leader Mu Yang's expression changed as he looked at him. How is this possible? Vice President Lai Mo looked down at his chest, then turned around. Luo Feng was standing right behind him, holding a glowing true god's heart in his hand. Only at that moment did Vice President Lai Mo's body crash down. The face of Vice President Lai Mo appeared on the surface of the true god's heart, still filled with disbelief and unwillingness. How is this possible? The laws of space and time are sealed within Huyang City. Except for the Huyang Legion and Huyang Guards, no other powerful beings can travel through the void. How did he suddenly appear behind me? You escape quite fast. Luo Feng looked at the true god's heart. The face on the true god's heart, belonging to Vice President Lai Mo, immediately pled for mercy. Lord Luo He, facing you, I dare not make a move. Please spare my life, I will give all my treasures to you, Divine Monarch. If I kill you, the treasures are mine anyway. Luo Feng closed his hand, and with a squelch, he crushed the true god's heart. Luo Feng took action within the Blood Python Association headquarters, causing an uproar on the outside. A patrolling Huyang Guard team was piloting the mechanical flow treasure fire Yun Snake, a large sinuous fire-red serpent that had already reached close to the Blood Python Association headquarters in the void. The powerful sound carried far and wide. All cultivators must retreat from the EarthNet area immediately. It was seen that the power of heaven and earth coalesced into numerous ropes, forming the EarthNet formation that surrounded the Blood Python Association headquarters. The location of the Blood Python Association headquarters was not considered premium, far from being comparable to the Primal Chaos Armor sector, hence the cave mansions here were quite cheap, and the whole headquarters was naturally very large, stretching 10 billion kilometers in width and length. The EarthNet formation enveloped an area with a diameter of 30 billion kilometers. Retreat. Quickly move back. The myriad clans cultivators watching from a distance hurriedly retreated, staying beyond the range of the gigantic EarthNet. Morosa and Moyu Qingyang likewise retreated with the crowd. This commotion from the master. Moyu Qingyang was somewhat nervous. Morosa closely observed, prepared for any contingencies. At this moment, within the huge plant vine Jiao Legion that floated above the east city gate of Huyang City. Quick, quick, quick. All vine Jiao hatches close. One of Huyang's 10 great legions, the Vine Jiao Legion, mobilized urgently. The myriad of true gods who were previously entering and exiting through the vines saw the hatches closing and had to jump down swiftly. The entire Vine Jiao Legion became operational, with a peak eternal true god leading tens of millions of true gods of void space and tens of millions of elite true gods to pilot this colossal Legion-class mechanical stream secret treasure, the power of which was naturally terrifying. The numerous true gods who could enter and exit freely were all off-duty gods. Thousands of on-duty true gods were not allowed to abandon their posts. Vine Jiao Legion, there is currently a skirmish happening at the Blood Python Association headquarters within Huyang, said General Jiang Chungrong in the core cabin of the Vine Jiao Legion, listening to orders from Supreme Commander Mo Li Xiao. I only have one demand: ensure that the scuffle within the Blood Python Association headquarters does not impact the innocent outsiders. Whoever affects the innocent will not be spared lightly. As for the life and death inside the Blood Python Association, no need to intervene. Rest assured, Commander Mo Li, Jiang Chungrong smiled. Anyone who disrupts the order of Huyang will face the full force of the Vine Jiao Legion. The apparition of Mo Li Xiao that appeared in front of them had 4 purple curved horns like a crown, and his face showed signs of age. Even as an apparition, he exuded a strong oppressive aura. He was one of the most powerful beings among the 5 great families of the city owner's mansion. Jiang Chungrong, an eternal true god from the Zhujiang Marquis Jiang family, greatly admired and respected Mo Li Xiao, who he considered the most powerful eternal true god he had ever met. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. The Vine Jiao Legion was on the move. Huyang's 10 great legions and the Huyang Guards were not restricted by the main city formation, allowing them to travel directly through the void. It was just a matter of decision-making at the top level, order transmission, and a bit of time for the legion to mobilize. But the legions themselves could traverse the void in the blink of an eye, and they had already arrived above the Blood Python Association headquarters. What is that? Outside the Blood Python Association headquarters, the myriad clan's cultivators saw the massive plant that crossed the sky. It's the Vine Jiao Legion. The Vine Jiao Legion is one of the 10 great legions of Huyang, and the entire legion has mobilized. The onlooking myriad clan's cultivators were surprised. Ordinary conflicts within Huyang City that violate laws and the conflicts among dark forces are usually handled by the Huyang Guards. But this time, it's an entire legion that has taken action. It seems the fight inside the Blood Python Association headquarters is too terrifying. The Huyang Guards can no longer suppress it. It's probably one of the most fearsome beings within Huyang fighting. We should retreat even further. Even the Huyang Legion might not be able to protect us. Many onlooking cultivators of the myriad clans piloted flying boats to retreat billions of kilometers farther. With the observation abilities of a true god, they could still vaguely see the Blood Python Association headquarters from a distance. Whoosh 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 tilde 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 tilde. The Vine Jiao Legion hovered above the Blood Python Association headquarters as countless vines stretched out, completely enveloping and wrapping around the association. However, these vines did not penetrate the small cosmic domain. They obviously had no intention of getting involved in the internal strife. I wonder who is clashing with the Blood Python Association. General Jiang Chungrong from within the Vine Jiao Legion looked down below. During the day, countless tribes come to Huyang for trading. After dark, all non-residents must leave. During the day, it's the busiest and most prosperous. The city owner's mansion absolutely prohibits affecting the innocent, stated Jiang Chungrong, one of those resolutely guarding the order. For instance, the residences of true gods are absolutely safe, with massive formations enveloping the dwellings of countless true gods, prohibiting dark forces from raiding them. This allows them to cultivate in peace. During the daytime, in bustling areas, anyone bold enough to initiate a killing would be seen and remembered by numerous true gods. With irrefutable evidence, the city owner's mansion is obligated to take action. The dark forces also have to act in more hidden spots. This is why the vast majority of residents dare not pay the residence fee levied by the dark forces. The Dark Forces have limited members and cannot afford to break the rules, so how can they control the huge number of residents? Only those with jobs within the city, or those who need to operate in the city at night, comply with paying the fees demanded by the Dark Forces. Luo Feng was well aware of some of the city owner's mansion's rules and had no intention of crossing those lines. After killing Vice President Lai Mo, Luo Feng waved his hand, collecting the corpse of Vice President Lai Mo along with his left-behind scepter, weapons, and other items. Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python watched calmly. Both of them guessed the actions of the city owner's mansion, but neither cared. Impressive, impressive, Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang praised. Lord Luo He, your movement technique is so fast, nearly mirroring the traversing of the void over short distances. I had to. Vice President Lai Mo escaped too quickly, Luo Feng replied. The movement technique he had just used was one of the 3 great secrets of the Duan Dong River lineage, Dong Hua. Vice President Lai Mo had been fleeing from the start, and Luo Feng was distracted dealing with those million poisonous insects. Thus, he had to resort to the Godly King-level supreme technique Dong Hua to completely extinguish Vice President Lai Mo. Lord Luo He, the Blood Python Association leader said amicably, you've also killed the 2 vice presidents, and you've collected their treasures. Could Lord Luo He consider stopping here? Stop. Luo Feng was astonished. In this world, having one more friend is always better than having one more enemy, the Blood Python Association leader said. The death of the 2 vice presidents is not worth mentioning. I would rather make a friend of Lord Luo He. To show my sincerity, I am willing to give Brother Luo He 50,000 cosmic sand. Could Brother Luo He please honor this face? Be my friend? Luo Feng chuckled lightly. Are you worthy? Association leader Mu Yang's expression stiffened, and his eyes grew colder. One last question, where did I offend Lord Luo He? Why must you take action against me? You killed Zhurong Yang. Luo Feng said. Zhurong Yang is nothing remarkable among eternal true gods. How can he compare to you and me? Me killing him, it's just survival of the fittest, Association leader Mu Yang said. Relying on alchemy skills to accumulate resources, upstanding and honorable, I quite admire that. And you, eternal true gods of the Dark Forces, are each of you scum, frantically hunting the weak for prey, preying on those true gods and true gods of void space to plunder their wealth. You are truly the most despicable among eternal true gods, Luo Feng said. Each and every one of you deserves to be killed. Indeed, he truly thought so in his heart. Whether as a servant, a butcher, or a mining worker, all are upright and proper endeavors. The city owner's mansion only collects the most basic residence fee from true gods, and offers free accommodation to those above true gods while maintaining the order of the city. But the Dark Forces relentlessly exploit without any bottom line, even crazily looking for fat sheep to slaughter directly and plunder. To massacre all beings, to nourish their own bodies. Luo Feng naturally looked down upon these eternal true gods of the Dark Forces. I understand, Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang nodded lightly. However, I need Lord Luo He to understand that even if I am despicable and lowly, as long as I am powerful, I still stand high above all. The survival of the fittest is the fundamental truth. The Blood Python Association leader, his face full of black scales, was ferocious and mad. I want to see just how strong you, Luo He, are to dare come and kill me. He instantly revealed his true body, towering like a mountain, covered with dense patches of black scales. With a slight swing of his tail clad in scale armor, he twisted space-time, and numerous surrounding buildings were destroyed. Some Blood Python Association members hiding inside the buildings were caught in the chaos and turned to dust amidst their terror. No. Leader. Many members of the Blood Python Association, seeing the giant black scale-armored tail revealed in the dark, could tell it was their own leader from the aura. They cried out in anguish, but at this moment, the Blood Python Association leader simply did not care about them. Boom. The Blood Python Association leader burned his divine power, his eyes fixed on Luo Feng, and his godly body instantly emanated a fiery blood-colored aura. Die. A blood-colored after-image streaked across an arc, cleaved through the darkness, and swooped towards the diminutive Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood still, clearly seeing that the blood-colored afterimage was the massive scale-armored tail spreading a blood-colored atmosphere, which, like cleaving through a primal world, enveloped Luo Feng. A terrifying scale-armored tail struck where Luo Feng had been standing, making the ground suddenly sink, but Luo Feng vanished into thin air. Executing the movement technique Dong Hua, Luo Feng instantly appeared at the chest of the towering Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang. His arm swelled, and his palm, like a blade, stabbed towards the leader's chest. This blade technique seemed ordinary, yet it contained the essence of the world-breaking Nine Sabers, Life and Death Saber, which let Luo Feng, having undergone body refinement, focus all of his immense might into that palm strike. The palm strike caused the Blood Python Association leader Mu Yang's face to drastically change as the scales on his chest caved in and cracked under the formidable power, sending him flying backward involuntarily. Armor secret treasure? Has the armor fused with the scale armor? Luo Feng was well aware of the strength of his godly body, and the sensation from his palm strike convinced him that it was indeed an armor secret treasure. Luo Feng instantly caught up with the flying Blood Python Association leader, raising his arm and cleaving down. It was like he was wielding a great axe, carrying the same grand destructive essence, and he instantly struck the leader's shoulder. This strike was the world-breaking Nine Sabers, Return to Ruin's saber that Luo Feng had comprehended. During a closure of more than a decade, Luo Feng had temporarily mastered 3 of the world-breaking Nine Sabers, the Life and Death Saber, the Reincarnation Blade, and the Return to Ruin's saber. Among them, the Return to Ruin's saber, with its destructive essence of returning everything to chaos, was quickly comprehended by Luo Feng because he had Morosa's great Tao of Destruction origin as a reference. This saber was the most ferocious and the most destructive among the 3. The Blood Python Association leader, being an eternal true god in the tenfold realm and protected by an armor secret treasure as well as burning his divine power, still felt an overwhelming force cleaving his shoulder, causing the scales to cave in and split open. My armor secret treasure has been split. Association leader Mu Yang felt his heart tremble. This Luo, his palm strike is like a full-strength blow from one of Huyang's 10 great legions wielding a legion-class secret treasure. Even burning my divine power, I can't withstand it. The burst of power from the peak of a perfect divine body was first felt by the Blood Python Association leader. Too fierce. The Blood Python Association leader even suspected, is Luo he the legendary unlimited godly body? Boom. Following the splintering of the armor secret treasure, Luo Feng immediately pounced again, clearly intending to rip the Blood Python Association leader apart with his bare hands. Suddenly, bang! A massive blood-red hand appeared out of nowhere, fiercely striking Luo Feng as he lunged forward. With the giant palm being so immense and Luo Feng so tiny in comparison, Luo Feng was sent flying backward with a whoosh, crashing into the buildings of the Blood Python Association headquarters, breaking through many structures, and inciting wails from the hidden members within. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The thrown Luo Feng stood up, his eyes filled with excitement as he looked ahead. Interesting, now this is interesting. That slap was truly painful, making his entire perfect divine body feel the hurt. I didn't expect you to have a single-entity mechanical flow secret treasure as well. Luo Feng felt his blood boiling. This battle, from this moment on, was truly thrilling. Those who have seen this mechanical flow secret treasure of mine are all dead, came the cold voice of the Blood Python Association leader from amid the thick bloodlight. I gave you a chance, but you insisted on courting death. The intense mass of bloodlight split into 3 beams in an instant, all of them pouncing towards Luo Feng. Ha ha ha, just with you? Luo Feng laughed loudly, his body bursting with a murky vigor that filled the surroundings, naturally forming a domain, which was the Reincarnation Blade realm. With the Reincarnation Blade realm protecting his body and employing the Donghua body method, Luo Feng was even faster than the 3 beams of bloodlight, meeting one of them head-on. Bang! Luo Feng's expression changed slightly, for when his hand, shaped like a knife, struck the bloodlight, he felt its power being swallowed, and the bloodlight began to erode his palm. Fortunately, he had undergone a round of body refinement, his body now like a secret treasure weapon, greatly enhancing his resistance to erosion. Although it consumed a bit of his divine power, given the reserve of his divine power, such erosion was naturally insignificant. What a formidable godly body! However, No matter what body-refining secret technique you use, it won't save you today. Along with the frenzied voice of the Blood Python Association leader, waves of bloodlight enveloped Luo Feng like an endless tide. Luo Feng resisted with all his might, but still couldn't prevent the bloodlight from engulfing him. Whoosh! In just a moment, the dense bloodlight completely bound Luo Feng. The bloodlight transformed into a giant blood-colored hand, which firmly grasped Luo Feng's godly body, intending to crush him completely. Eternal level mechanical treasure, indeed different. Even with my perfect divine body, I can't block it without burning divine power. Luo Feng, grasped by the blood-colored hand, was not the least bit panicked, but instead felt a sense of emotion. To him, this kind of battle was merely a trial. Eternal True God level mechanical treasure contained moves of the primal chaos realm, overwhelmingly superior to Eternal True God level. Additionally, the mechanical treasure could also convert energy. For instance, the Showu wings transformed the user's energy into an even more powerful force, stored within the Showu wings itself. Like Luo Feng's Showu wings, like the Legion-class treasures of Huyang's 10 Great Legions, they all contained moves of the primal chaos realm level. If both sides used mechanical treasures, it would depend on who the user was. Someone like Mo Li Xiao, who was originally strong and controlled a Legion mechanical treasure, would naturally be terrifyingly powerful. But generally, Legions, when compared to the super-strong association leaders like Mu Yang of the Blood Python wielding individual mechanical treasures, didn't have a huge gap. The blood-colored hand grasped Luo Feng, seeking to crush him to dust. Die. Luo Feng struggled to resist, and under this pressure, the skin on the surface of his godly body began to crack. He can actually withstand it with his godly body. This made association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python, who had transformed into the blood-colored hand, somewhat incredulous. Using the mechanical treasure, Luo Feng hadn't burned any divine power and still managed to hold out until now. I must burn divine power now. In an instant, divine power erupted within Luo Feng, operating in accordance with one of the 3 supreme teachings of the Duandong River lineage, the Duan Mie Dharma. In a moment, divine power burned furiously, and the might of the godly body surged dramatically. The Duan Mie Dharma was extremely effective in burning divine power. The reason the successors of the Duandong River lineage dominated their peers was mainly because of Duan Mie. As for Donghua, that was a movement technique, while Undying River was used for revival after death. In a battle, one relied on Duan Mie alone. Regardless of the path one took, burning divine power and employing this dharma would grant a significant advantage at the same level. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Under the terrifying might, Luo Feng's arms shook, and the blood-colored hand was shattered. What? The blood-colored giant hand coalesced into a blood-colored figure in the distance, and the association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python couldn't believe it. Merely by burning divine power, the burst of might actually surpassed my mechanical stream secret treasure. Luo He, are you an unlimited godly body? Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python asked. Merely by burning the power of his godly body, he was able to overpower an eternal level mechanical stream secret treasure. Naturally, association leader Mu Yang thought of the legendary unlimited godly body, which represented the highest level of godly bodies. Keep guessing. Luo Feng grinned, and at the same time, a seemingly ordinary blade appeared in his right hand out of thin air. The blade was dark with a faint hint of bloodlight, the godly king-level blade embryo bloodshadow knife. A blade? The blood-colored figure in the distance was shocked. You are only starting to use a weapon now? Die. Under the state of burning divine power, Luo Feng's movement technique and blade technique were both immensely empowered. Even though his realm wasn't as powerful as the mechanical stream secret treasure, Luo Feng's moves were extremely powerful. Break laws with force. With a blade in hand, Luo Feng was able to suppress that terrifying blood light. Hum tilde 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 as the blade light sang like an incantation, it flashed in and out of existence, releasing countless strikes in a moment, each one chasing after that mass of bloodlight and slashing at it. While association leader Mu Yang controlled the mechanical stream secret treasure, he was formless and intangible, seeming as one with primal chaos, but every time Luo Feng's blade struck him, he felt a terrifying destructive power rampaging and causing his consumption of divine power to greatly intensify. Where did this guy pop up from? Merely by bursting forth with divine power and wielding a blade, he can chase after me and hack away. I'm controlling an eternal true God-level mechanical stream secret treasure. Mu Yang felt stifled and unwilling. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The Vine Jiao Legion hovered right above the Blood Python Association headquarters, with countless vines wrapping around that small cosmic domain. General Jiang Chungrong was quite at ease. After all, unless one was insane, an eternal true God would not dare to cross the City Lord's mansion's bottom line. The Vine Jiao Legion came here just for deterrence. Through the Legion mechanical treasure Vine Jiao, Jiang Chungrong clearly sensed two terrifying fluctuations inside the Blood Python Association headquarters, both of them fiercely battling with a strength that even alarmed him. Such strong fluctuations. Jiang Chungrong thought to himself, this might is not inferior to the entire Vine Jiao Legion. Association leader Mu Yang has always been tough to handle, otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to establish a dark force on his own. But who is the other party in the battle? Jiang Chungrong was quite curious. Is it a friend I know, or some mysterious new powerhouse? Within Huyang City, there were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. For the moment, Jiang Chungrong couldn't guess who would have attacked the Blood Python Association headquarters. Flame Wind Pavilion. Master, the burst of fluctuations is strong, the figure shrouded in grey mist exclaimed. This Luo he probably has a mechanical stream secret treasure as well, which gave him the courage to make his move. He might be able to defeat Mu Yang, but it will be difficult to kill him, said the master of the Flame Wind Pavilion. At Mu Yang's level, there are almost no weaknesses. Unless one completely overpowers him, he's hard to kill. The shadowy figure nodded. Defeating was easy, but killing was hard. The two of them watched with great interest, yet they were just there for the entertainment. As scions of the Emperor Chu's lineage, a branch of the imperial clan of Flame Wind ancient country, what they practiced were also the powerful secret techniques of Emperor Chu's lineage. In terms of heritage, they were stronger than both Duandong River and God King Jin's lineages. Within Huyang City, the eternal true gods they admired could be counted on one hand. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The Blood Python Association headquarters had long since been reduced to ruins. His body-refining secret technique is also extremely strong, and my bloodlight erosion can't even shake him. A mass of bloodlight being chased by Luo Feng counterattacked time and again, but after just over 10 breaths of exchange, Association leader Mu Yang of the Blood Python completely gave up. Enough. Let go of the Blood Python Association. After escaping, I'll find a way to rob some treasures and exchange them for the primordial iron bloodsand technique as soon as possible, decided Association leader Mu Yang in his heart, instantaneously beginning to flee. Whoosh. The mass of blood light instantly split into 9 beams, shooting in all directions. Trying to escape. Luo Feng frowned, momentarily unable to stop him. Luo he, we will settle our feud later. The 9 beams of blood light fled as a voice came along. Suddenly, buzz. All 9 beams of blood light saw that in the endless dark domain, the Luo Feng standing in place suddenly donned a dazzling set of golden armor, with a pair of shining golden wings unfurling. 6 pairs of golden wings spread out behind Luo Feng. Shorwu wings, originally known as Primal Chaos Golden Wings, only revealed their strongest form under the urging of Luo Feng's perfect divine power. As the 6 pairs of wings spread out, they stirred up the primal chaos, causing the surrounding material energy to shatter, returning everything to the most primitive chaos. What's happening? In some of the ruins of the Blood Python Association headquarters, extending billions of kilometers, there were still some members of the Blood Python Association hidden. Neither Luo Feng nor Association leader Mu Yang deliberately sought to kill these ordinary members. So there were quite a few lucky ones still alive. At this moment, they saw a series of murky currents appearing in the distance amidst the darkness. Wherever these murky currents swept through, destroyed buildings, and the powers of heaven and earth in the air, everything was assimilated. All turned into these murky currents. Buzz the endless and terrifying power of chaos completely enveloped the 9 beams of bloodlight, 8 of which instantly disintegrated, leaving only 1 beam of bloodlight remaining. Under the pressure of the power of chaos, this beam of bloodlight revealed Association leader Mu Yang's true body. Control primal chaos? Association leader Mu Yang struggled with all his might but found the power of chaos too terrifying to resist. He looked up into the distance. Amid the darkness, surrounded by streams of primal chaos, Luo Feng, with 6 pairs of shining golden wings on his back, walked step by step towards him, each step seeming to trample the entire domain. You also have a mechanical flow secret treasure. Is your secret treasure's primal chaos realm technique control primal chaos? Struggled association leader Mu Yang, still unable to break free. How are you, an eternal true god, so strong when wielding a mechanical flow secret treasure? Both were using mechanical flow secret treasures, but with the Sho Wu wings unfurled and controlling chaos, association leader Mu Yang was unable to resist at all. Luo Feng looked at his opponent. Indeed, both of them were using mechanical flow secret treasures, but Luo Feng was driving the whole Sho Wu wings with perfect divine power as the base energy. The perfect divine power was refined and condensed through the Sho Wu wings, already comparable to the divine power of a real primal chaos overlord. When Luo Feng then displayed the Sho Wu wings' primal chaos realm technique control primal chaos, its might was unimaginable. If replaced by an eternal true god who followed the bloodline cultivation path, their divine power would be much inferior to Luo Feng's, and when driving Sho Wu wings, the power would be far less. Since you're going to die, there's no need to ask so many questions. Luo Feng was already close at hand. Fart. The 6 pairs of wings behind Luo Feng suddenly flashed light, slicing through the association leader Mu Yang's body. Already completely suppressed, the eyes of association leader Mu Yang bulged as the wings, sharp as blades, had already sliced across his chest and through his true god's heart. Luo He, I have prepared a big gift for you, ha ha ha, laughed association leader Mu Yang, as his consciousness completely dissipated. The leader of one of Huyang City's dark forces had thus completely died. With a wave of his hand, Luo Feng collected the corpse of association leader Mu Yang, the left-behind armor, mechanical flow secret treasures, and all other items. It's time to go. Luo Feng looked around, feeling that he had entirely collected the spoils of war, and suddenly expanded his own small cosmic domain. Buzz tilde tilde tilde. The Vine Jiao Legion, responsible for garrisoning outside, suddenly found the dark small cosmic domain expand abruptly. Whoosh, darkness spread in all directions, but as it spread, it also rapidly dissipated. Once the darkness was completely gone, the Blood Python Association headquarters revealed itself, nothing but ruins. As for Luo Feng, he was, of course, long gone. Where is the master? Morosa and Moyu Qingyang, who were watching from a distance, wondered. Morosa, you take Qingyang and go back first. I still have things to do, Luo Feng transmitted through his mind. Yes, master, Morosa understood and immediately led Moyu Qingyang away quietly. The Vine Jiao Legion hovered in the sky, its invisible force enveloping the ruins of the Blood Python Association headquarters, dragging out the surviving members one by one. For a moment, deep within the vast headquarters spanning 1 billion kilometers, millions of members were relocated. After the battle, only 1 or 2/10 of these Blood Python Association members survived, said Jiang Chungrong, looking down and shaking his head slightly. Those who survived were almost all hiding deep underground, the Deputy General beside him added. The Blood Python Association headquarters indeed had a multitude of underground structures. It was only because the land in the land of origin was solid and stable that 1 or 2/10 of the members survived the horrific battle. General Jiang Chungrong and the Deputy General noticed that the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall had sent a new bounty each time there was a change in bounties. The Dark Hall would actively send them to their clients. The bounty displayed, the mission to assassinate the leader of the Blood Python Association, Mu Yang, had been completed. The leader of the Blood Python Association is dead, the Deputy General asked in surprise. Since they could not see any eternal true god corpses in the ruins, they indeed did not know the extent of the casualties. If the Flamewind Pavilion confirms the death, then it is indeed true, Jiang Chungrong nodded. Since the Flamewind Pavilion's Dark Hall issued assassination missions, they naturally had full confidence in confirming the target's life or death. The Deputy General spoke solemnly. Our entire Vine Jiao Legion couldn't do anything against the leader of the Blood Python Association. And now he has been killed. The power of the one who took action is stronger than our entire legion. Jiang Chungrong sighed. I wonder who it was. Whoosh. A group of figures shuttled through the void, arriving from afar. Leading them was the supreme commander of Huyang's 10 great legions, Mo Li Xiao. Mo Li Xiao had a somewhat aged face, with his eyes burning with purple flames as he surveyed the battlefield. You take charge of the Vine Jiao Legion, I'll go to greet Commander Mo Li, instructed General Jiang Chungrong. Right, the Deputy General immediately responded. The 10 great legions of Huyang, when at full strength, each had 2 eternal true gods, over 20,000 true gods of void space, and over 20 million elite true gods. This was a double configuration. They always made sure to have at least 1 eternal true god, over 10,000 true gods of void space, and over 10 million elite true gods within the Legion's mechanical flow secret treasure. This way, they could rotate shifts, ensuring that an unexpected event befalling an eternal true god wouldn't affect the Legion's operations. Phew! General Jiang Chungrong flew out of the colossal Vine Jiao Legion to personally welcome Commander Mo Li Xiao. Commander Mo Li, General Jiang Chungrong flew to the side. Flamewind Pavilion has confirmed that the leader of the Blood Python Association is dead. Mo Li Xiao gazed at the vast ruins of the Blood Python Association headquarters. In Huyang City, there are only a handful who could kill the leader of the Blood Python Association. Indeed, he couldn't even escape, just forcibly killed. Jiang Chungrong nodded, then continued, the confrontation was always inside the Blood Python Association headquarters. I immediately relocated all the surviving Blood Python Association members to one side. They haven't destroyed the battlefield. Mo Li Xiao nodded slightly. With just a thought, endless black mist spread out, completely covering the ruins of the Blood Python Association, carefully inspecting every trace of the ruins. By examining the remnants remaining in the ruins, it was possible to deduce some of the details of the clash. The matter here and the power of heaven and earth were completely shattered and melted into chaotic power not long ago, observed Mo Li Xiao carefully. This is not something the leader of the Blood Python Association would do. Jiang Chungrong nodded. It seems that the one who took action must possess a mechanical flow treasure that can control chaotic power. Just by relying on one mechanical flow treasure, one cannot kill the leader of the Blood Python Association. Commander Mo Li Xiao lightly shook his head. The secret treasure you wield is of the Legion mechanical flow. Could you kill the Blood Python leader? General Jiang Chungrong smiled. The one who acted is much stronger than me. Very strong, and not one of the few that I'm familiar with. Commander Mo Li Xiao frowned. A strange powerhouse has come to Huyang City. Their conversation was followed in silence by a group of subordinates who didn't dare to make a sound. At Commander Mo Li Xiao's side was his favorite disciple Gao Wu Shui. Listening to this, Gao Wu Shui felt secretly alarmed in his heart. In his heart, his master was the pillar that supported the entire Huyang City. General Jiang Chungrong was also an extremely powerful eternal true god. Yet now, even his master seemed quite wary of this mysterious figure. We must identify his identity as quickly as possible, Commander Mo Li Xiao spoke. As long as that mysterious strongman goes to claim the reward, the Flamewind Pavilion will certainly know his identity, General Jiang Chungrong said. But the Flamewind Pavilion would not betray a client. Commander Mo Li Xiao nodded. As long as he's not standing with Shi Kingdom, it's good news for us. Shi Kingdom often encroaches upon the neighboring areas. As Huyang City is a border city, the pressure is naturally great. Inside Dream Flower Tower, Shong Tianyang and Sang Shuiyun sat opposite each other in a hall, drinking and chatting leisurely, frequent patrons of Dream Flower Tower themselves. They too received the latest offered task sent from the Dark Hall of Flamewind Pavilion. The Blood Python leader is dead. Shong Tianyang was surprised. He was one of the overlords within Huyang City. I always avoided him whenever I saw him. Who could kill him? The dispirited winged man Sang Shuiyun was indifferent to the news, casually saying, since he established a dark force and continuously engaged in battles and killings, isn't it only natural he was killed by another strongman in the end? That's true, he met a formidable opponent after killing so many. Shong Tianyang nodded with excitement. But I am still very curious about who exactly made the move. Why bother wondering so much? Give it time, and we'll naturally find out. the winged man Sang Shueyun leisurely looked at his wine cup. Who could kill the association leader Mu Yang of the blood python? A gaunt old chef suddenly paused in his cooking, a slight upturn appeared on his lips. Huyang City is getting more and more interesting. In the reward task, the bounty for the blood python leader ranks 5th while I am ranked 4th, with even higher rewards. Could he be eyeing me next? Puppet Shadow Master Chun Yui, who was also a leader of a dark force, tensed upon hearing the news. At this moment, every client of the Flame Wind Association's Dark Hall in Huyang City had received the newest offered tasks. The news of the blood python leader's death naturally caused an uproar throughout Huyang City. The death of Jurong Yang had less impact. After all, Jurong Yang was rather weak. But the assassination of the leader of the Blood Python Association was a significant event. After all, among those in Huyang City who could kill him, each one's slightest movement could cause Huyang to tremble. Who are they? Or are they new powerful arrivals? All the forces wanted to know. Chairman Zon Yun sat on the top floor of Sky Cloud Tower, holding a transmission token. My killer is Luo He. With an extremely powerful mechanical flow secret treasure, he killed me. His mechanical flow secret treasure greatly surpasses my lifeblood river, which is valued at 1.5 million cosmic sand. His must be worth at least 5 million cosmic sand. The blood python leader sent this message and a visual to Chairman Zon Yun just before his death. The visual showed Luo Feng with 6 pairs of golden wings unfurling behind him, surrounded by a terrifying scene of primal chaos current on both sides. Luo He? Chairman Zon Yun was somewhat surprised. Are the 6 pairs of wings on his body ordinary treasures or mechanical flow secret treasures? Mechanical flow secret treasures often can be integrated into the body, invisible from the exterior. Moreover, throughout the long history of the Land of Origin, an unknown number of eternal-level mechanical flow secret treasures have been born. Just in Huyang City alone, the Huyang Legion boasts the 10 Great Legions class treasures, and the Huyang Guards also have slightly weaker Legion treasures. There are also many individual mechanical flow secret treasures. Able to kill the blood python leader, his strength is on par with Commander Moli Xiao and Shui Yun. Chairman Zon Yun affirmed this point. The Moli clan today, whose controller is Moli Meng, equally received the message and visual from the blood python leader just before his death. My killer is Luo He. With an extremely powerful mechanical flow secret treasure, he killed me. His mechanical flow secret treasure greatly surpasses my lifeblood river, which is valued at 1.5 million cosmic sand. His must be worth at least 5 million cosmic sand, the exact same message. Moli Meng looked at the message and the visual of Luo Feng's Sho Wu wings unfolding. 2 mechanical flow secret treasures, adding up to 6.5 million cosmic sand. Not to mention the other treasures he carries, Moli Meng mused, he's deliberately using me as his weapon, and I can't help but be tempted. But this Luo He is too mysterious. I have no idea of his background. Moli Meng shook his head lightly. This message is not suitable to tell my father. His father is Commander Moli Xiao. My father is the pillar of the Moli clan. I cannot let him take great risks, Moli Meng had decided, as if he had not seen the message. Prior to his death, the blood python leader used the karmic messenger order to send this message to 5 forces within Huyang City. These 5 forces shared one thing in common: they all had big backgrounds, capable of summoning some terrifying fighters from elsewhere. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Outside Huyang City, in the midst of endless wilderness, a pitch-black poisonous insect drilled out from the depths of the earth, transforming naturally into a figure, the gaunt vice-chairman Mu Lin. When I refined the poisonous insect body, it was for its strong survival skills. Vice-chairman Mu Lin looked toward the distant Huyang City. My life-bound poisonous insect has always been hiding outside the city. Indeed, Luo He is terrifying. According to the bounty mission sent by the Flame Wind Pavilion, our president also perished. Vice-chairman Mu Lin shook his head lightly. His life-bound poisonous insect carried an ordinary transmission order, only able to receive Dark Hall messages when close to Huyang City. Unlike the karmic messenger order, the ordinary transmission order's communication range was limited and it wasn't locatable through karmic means. Vice-chairman Mu Lin was far more cautious than his fellow clansman and President Mu Yang. Time to leave, stay away from Huyang City. Otherwise, if discovered by Luo He, the hard-earned multitude of poisonous insects would again turn to ashes. Vice Chairman Mu Lin was indeed afraid of Luo Feng. Of the 3 major cities in Zhujiang Primal Chaos Prefecture, let's go to Shuyin City. Having made his decision, Vice Chairman Mu Lin set off toward Shuyin City. Within Huyang City, city owner's mansion. 3 divine power incarnations stood shoulder to shoulder, all watching the citywide monitoring. It was precisely because of this citywide monitoring that the city owner's mansion could keep constant tabs on all the movements of the dark forces, coupled with identity token position locking, to confirm which true gods the dark forces killed. Ordinary true gods each had an identity token and had to regularly pay the residence fee, or else they would be expelled from the city. If the one who took action uses a minor cosmic domain to block detection, we won't be able to track him, a white-haired figure said. Let's wait and see, we might discover something, Lord of Huyang City said while observing the recorded scenes on the monitors. Commander Mo Li Xiao was also silently watching. Huyang City was built in collaboration by a large number of mechanical flow experts. The city's monitored scenes were preserved for at least a century. Therefore, it was possible to review some past scenes. Look, the white-haired figure, Lord of Huyang City, and Commander Mo Li Xiao all tensed up. Clear for all the city monitoring to see. Luo Feng walked alone to the front gate of the Blood Python Association headquarters after parting ways with Morosa and Moyu Qingyang. Only then did darkness suddenly materialize and completely envelop the Blood Python Association headquarters. It's him, Lord of Huyang City exclaimed excitedly. It's Luo He. He didn't use any concealment to block detection. Instead, he just walked openly to the front of the Blood Python Association headquarters. Commander Mo Li Xiao nodded. He did it on purpose. Any eternal true god was capable of using a minor cosmic domain to block surveillance, making it impossible for citywide monitoring to detect them. In all of Huyang City, only our city owner's mansion is constantly monitoring the entire city. So, he's merely not hiding from us, the white-haired figure explained. This Luo He is showing goodwill towards our city owner's mansion. Both Commander Mo Li Xiao and Lord of Huyang City nodded their agreement. The spacetime in the land of origin is stable, to perform spacetime backtracking to see past events. No one in Huyang City could achieve that. Therefore, only the ever-vigilant city owner's mansion was able to look back at the scene of Luo Feng arriving at the Blood Python Association headquarters. After leaving the Blood Python Association headquarters, Luo Feng flew away, and now he could already see the distant Flamewind Pavilion. The city owner's mansion monitors the entire city. They should be able to check the scene when I arrived at the Blood Python Association headquarters, Luo Feng thought. Between the city owner's mansion and the Shi Kingdom's undercover forces, he naturally favored the city owner's mansion. While thinking, Luo Feng had already flown over the Flamewind Pavilion. Time to claim the reward. This video will end here.